Welcome. We are back live here on the Chiefs Report. First time in a while. I'm your host, Harrison Graham, and today we are sponsored by Mint Mobile. Guys, inflation is hitting us from every angle, but Mint Mobile, a cell phone company owned by actor Ryan Reynolds, has plans starting at just $15 a month. Start saving today by going to mintmobile.com/chatsports. You can keep your same phone and just change providers to Mint Mobile. It's very easy. It takes about 15 or 20 minutes. Find out how, mintmobile.com/chatsports. All right, welcome back. Hey, it's been a while, about 5 or 6 weeks since we've been live here on the channel, but plan is to go live on Mondays from here on out. Shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are watching from. I appreciate everybody who is hanging out in the live chat before the show. I see Tony in there, JJ, we got Caden, we got Ice. I'm not reading the rest of your names, Ice. I know what you're doing there, so appreciate everybody hanging out. We got JJ in Tigard, Oregon. Matt is in Knoxville, Tennessee. Trey Young in Nashville, Tennessee. We got Jose up in New Jersey. Let's see, CD Check in Warrensburg, Missouri. South Carolina is where Jay is. What's going on from Tony? Not much, Tony. Feeling good. Got King Julian, one of my Bears audience watchers. We got Pro Scooter in Seattle. Ice, it's good humor. King is in Chicago. Pro Scooter is in Seattle. Right Hand is in Lone Grove, Oklahoma. Let's see. Producer Jack is left-handed. He's working with someone else today. Ricky says hi. What's up? MDB says welcome back. Yeah, I'm back. I'm ready to go. Had a nice little vacation up in Italy. Saw a couple of you guys asking me about that. It was fantastic. Feeling refreshed here at the start of training camp. All right, we did get a super chat before the show from MDB 2006. Appreciate the $10. Who would you rather pair with Pat, a prime Priest Holmes or a prime Jamal Charles? Probably Jamal Charles because he's more dangerous in open space, but either of these running backs would be fun as hell to have with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Charles has the breakaway speed. Priest Holmes can do a little bit of everything. So, yeah, two great Chiefs running backs and two of my favorite players to watch over the past 20 years or so. Speaking of a former Chief, do you miss Tyreek Hill? Type Y for yes, type in for no. This is also the live poll question on today's show. Tyreek Hill was talking about the Chiefs once again on First Take again today. So I want to know where you guys, because I think Tyreek misses Kansas City. I want to know if Chiefs Kingdom misses Tyreek Hill. That's what I want to know. And somehow the poll just ended. So I'll redo it here. Yes or no, do you miss him? Ice says yes, Tony says yes, Pro Scooter says yes, Fat Boy Slim, Matt and JJ say yes, Ricky Garcia says no, not yet from Neil. Pro Scooter says yes, Jay says yes, Fat Boy Slim saying yes. Tony, Trey Young, Tim Carr all saying yes. Hell yes from Shad. 75% saying yes on the live poll now. The other poll was more closer to 50-50. Let's see. King Julian says yes. True says yes. Ice wants to know where I am. I'm in Dallas, Texas. That's where the Chat Sports studios are. All right, let's go to our next question here. Will Orlando Brown report at the start of training camp? Veterans report tomorrow. Will he be there? Type R for he will report. Type W for he will not. He won't report. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I think he should report, but I'm not sure. He's got to sign his franchise tender. Keith says yes, that he will. He better from Ice. Won't. He's lazy from Shad. Tony says won't. Hopefully yes from Neil. Tim says won't. Ricky says won't. Jay says won't. So does Fat Boy Slim, C. Lee, and True Brown. Pro Scooter thinks he will report. Jeremiah Carpenter going, Chiefs football. Yeah, it's back. Chiefs football is back, fellas. Trey Young says won't. JJ says won't. He needs to play with the Super Bowl contender. I mean, he's on a Super Bowl contender, so he's got that going for him. But we'll see. Andy Reid said yesterday he's not sure if Orlando Brown will report or not, so we'll have to wait and see. 2 mailbags today, so start loading up your questions right now. If you use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, those are the 2 ways to get on the show. If you Super Chat, it's a guarantee, just like MDB did earlier. We'll probably get to his question later on during our mailbag as well. But use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to load them up. I've seen a few questions come in, but no hashtag Chiefs. Got to use the hashtag, otherwise producer Trace is going to ignore your questions. So use hashtag Chiefs or you can Super Chat. All right, who's excited for training camp? Type me if you are. You can spam it more than once. Let's get the comment section flowing here. We got over 70 people watching live here on YouTube. So spam me if you are excited for training camp. Tony loading up a question, doing it right. Tony says me, K-Sev says me, Richard and Caden say me, Jeremiah, Shad, JJ, Fat Boy Slim, Pro Scooter, all excited for training camp. So is Fat Boy Slim. Got a few hashtag Chiefs questions coming in. Pro Scooter, Ricky, all saying me as we get closer and closer to camp being full throttle. All right, if you're ready for the show to start, like the video. Let's get a few more likes in there, and then we can jump on in. We only have 15 likes. Those are rookie numbers. Let's ramp that up a little bit. I know a little bit smaller audience since we haven't been live for a little over a month now, but we will ramp it up here over the next few weeks. Daily videos and live streams every single Monday throughout training camp and on into the regular season. So like this video if you are ready for the real show to start. All right, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let's get you guys caught up on the latest Chiefs news and rumors, and then we'll answer some of your questions. The Kansas City Chiefs Report is sponsored by Mint Mobile. If you want to save some prices with bills going up everywhere, switch your cell phone provider to Mint Mobile. Plan starting at just $15 per month. Link is mintmobile.com/chatsports to get started. It only takes you about 15 minutes to switch your provider while keeping the same phone. Link in the comments and in the description. All right, let's talk about the Cheetah. Tyreek Hill. Is he missing Kansas City? Well, he joined ESPN's First Take and talked about his trade to Miami, talked about Tua, Mahomes, a bunch of things. This is a quote that really caught my eye here, and I wanted to bring it to you guys. And by the way, he was wearing wild sunglasses on the show today. Davante Adams broke the bank with the Raiders. He, talking about his agent Drew Rosenhaus, called me and was like, we got to get the Chiefs on the phone and make something shake. I told him, Drew, I don't want to break up something special. Obviously, I have goals of my own. Let's at least make maybe not top it, but get somewhere close to it. The Chiefs were nowhere close to the Davante Adams deal, and that's really where it broke down. It broke my heart when I had to sign in Miami. So, once again, and this has happened several times since Tyreek Hill got traded to the Dolphins back in, March now, that he has gone out of his way to talk about the Chiefs and talk about whether or not he wanted to stay in Kansas City, which it continues to look like he did. I think Tyreek Hill misses the Chiefs really badly. I think he really, really wanted to be in Kansas City. He has said so. He said, hey, I want to be in KC. I mean, Chris Mad Dog Russo flat out asked him today on First Take, hey, if the money was close, would you have stayed? And he said, yeah, I'd be in Kansas City right now. He wanted to stay in Kansas City, but the Chiefs wouldn't budge. It sounds like they got to a price, and they wouldn't go above it. And Tyreek said, well, I'm going to go take top dollar in Miami, and he's got to live with that decision. But I think the Cheetah is maybe second-guessing himself a bit because, hey, the numbers he put up with Patrick Mahomes and briefly before that Alex Smith, very impressive through 6 seasons. I mean, he basically averaged 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns every year. I mean, that's hard to find elsewhere. We'll see if he's able to replicate those numbers with Tua Tagovailoa. I have my doubts, but we shall see. Now, another reason why I think Tyreek Hill misses Kansas City is he keeps projecting with Tua. He says stuff like, today, Tua is the most accurate QB in the NFL because they were asking him why he chose the Dolphins over the Jets. He said, Zach Wilson's a dog, but I wanted to play with the most accurate quarterback in the league. And then he said, hey, similarities between Mahomes and Tua. I see them all the time, and I'm like, what similarities? Mahomes is bigger, has a stronger arm. He's proven in the NFL. Tua's none of those things. Doesn't mean Tua can't be good, but he's proven nothing in the National Football League. Look, this is my overall thought on all this. Best of luck to Tyreek Hill. The memories were great. I'll be honest, at the time of the trade, I wasn't a fan, and I'm not necessarily even a fan now, but I've moved on. I feel like the Chiefs have moved on. I don't feel like Tyreek Hill has moved on. He keeps bringing it up, talking about how he would have stayed in Kansas City. How if the money was close, he would have been a Chief. It was a special thing going on. Yeah, it was special, but the Chiefs said it's not $30 million per year special. So that is what happened there, and best of luck to him. We'll see if Tua can get him the rock just as well as Patrick Mahomes did. So I think Tyreek Hill misses the Chiefs. I think that's pretty clear. The question is, does Chiefs Kingdom, you guys, miss Tyreek Hill? Type Y for yes, type in for no. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. Do you miss Tyreek Hill? Y for yes or in for no. All right, it's a little bit of a roster move coming down the pike late last night, earlier today. Evan Kazirzak, I think that's how to pronounce it. I looked up a couple interviews. Kazirzak signing with Kansas City, 2020 undrafted free agent. We can kind of talk about his path, offensive lineman here. Played for the University of Buffalo. Wrong logo there. My mistake. Producer Trace. Played his college ball at the University of Buffalo. Was a UDFA signing out of for the Atlanta Falcons. Gets cut, bounced around a couple of practice squads last year, Washington and Buffalo, and then has now signed with Kansas City. You look at the depth chart. Obviously, the Orlando Brown stuff is going on. More on that in a little bit, but this is a camp body, depth signing. He hasn't really stuck in the NFL. Maybe the Chiefs see some developmental potential. I did read that they talked to him at one of the Senior Bowl games. It wasn't the Senior Bowl, but I think it was the East-West Shrine game after the 2019 college season. So there was some interest in him coming out of Buffalo. But this is a camp body. This is not a real threat to make the active roster. But if Orlando Brown's not at training camp, you need extra guys that can step in and take some reps. So this is kind of how I view this, an opportunity for him to show the Chiefs what he's got as he progresses in his career. Now, Mint Mobile is today's sponsor, and I've been thrilled since I switched my phone plan over because prices are going up everywhere. Inflation is something that's impacting us all, and Mint Mobile, the cell phone provider, is fantastic because it's on the largest LTE 5G network, unlimited talk and text, which a lot of providers don't even offer these days. You get free mobile hotspot as well. Here's the key, though. Plans starting at just $15 per month. A lot of phone bills these days, over $100. Mint Mobile, not so fast. It's a lot more affordable. The benefits are fantastic, and you can get started today at mintmobile.com/chatsports. Cool thing, too, a lot of people slide in my DMs like, Harrison, but I like my phone. I don't want to change my phone number. I'm in the same boat. They will send you an eSIM card, which is a digital SIM card, and when you switch, you can do it all online. In about 20 minutes, you're on a new provider, and you are ready to go. Same phone, same phone number. Don't have to go into a store and wait in line. You can do it all online. Go to mintmobile.com/chatsports. Go check it out. Plans starting at just $15 per month. All right, let's talk more training camp for the Chiefs. Here's the latest. We discussed a little bit on Sunday, but a little further here. Rookies, quarterbacks, and players coming off injury reported on Saturday. A couple of light practices took place before veterans report tomorrow on Tuesday, and then the first full practice will take place on Wednesday the 27th. So that's really when training camp ramps up. So 24 or 48 hours from now, we'll kind of know who all's in the building and what all is going on. So I kind of wanted to go through a few storylines here as training camp is going to ramp up here. Obviously, number one, Orlando Brown watch. Will he report? Will he not? Andy Reid said, I don't know if Brown will report. We'll be ready to go with or without him. I don't really know what the upside is to him not reporting other than avoiding an injury during training camp, but he has to play this year if he wants to earn a bigger contract next offseason. So sure, maybe he'll hold out of camp, but I'm not overly worried because if he's not there week one, it's not like the Chiefs can negotiate a contract right now. They cannot resume negotiations until after this season since he is under the franchise tag, but he has not signed that tender yet, which means he can avoid fines during camp. Will Orlando Brown report at the start of training camp? What do you guys think? Type R for report, type W for he will not. I'm going to say he probably won't be there at the beginning of training camp, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. All right, storyline number 2 at training camp, the wide receiver competition. So I mean, obviously, you don't have Tyreek Hill, which we just talked about once again. But I'm excited to see what these guys can do. Juju, Valdez-Scantling, Hardman, Sky Moore, Josh Gordon. Now, Justin Ross is banged up right now, but Cornell Powell reportedly had a good practice over the weekend. Darius Fountain had a good camp last year to earn an initial roster spot. Some other guys in the mix. Justin Watson could be a name to watch. So excited to see what these guys do at the wide receiver position. And I'll continue to repeat it. You may not have a true number one, but since you have Travis Kelce, maybe you don't need a true number one. Maybe you just need 3, 4, 5 guys that can contribute on any given Sunday. So I'll be fascinated to see if some of these guys separate themselves from the rest of the pack and a top 2 or 3 guys emerges. Rookies, hey, listen, I think training camp is really the first time we get a close look at rookies. Sure, there's rookie minicamp, OTAs, yada, 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 but the pads aren't on until training camp. We'll get to see how Sky Moore runs around with the pads. You know, is George Karlaftis going to be ready for a big role? Trent McDuffie at the cornerback position. Brian Cook, could he push for a role in the secondary? I think Kansas City's relying on a few guys. I just mentioned a couple of them. McDuffie and Karlaftis, I think, are going to be day one starters. They need to be ready to go. Sky Moore is a guy who has a chance to contribute. I think Leo Chenal is a player to watch out for as he bounced back from a tough first practice in which he had some heat exhaustion issues, made an interception the next day. So these rookies are going to have a chance to compete, and they have a lot to prove because, you know, a lot of these vets have been there and done that. Subscribe to the Chiefs Report because we are trying to reach 31,000 subscribers before the first preseason game, which I believe is on August 13th. So got about 2.5, 3 weeks until we get there. So help us out. Just over 300 subs away. So hit that big red button. We will have training camp videos just about every single day. All right, my last one is, do the Chiefs have enough at defensive end? We'll see, right? We'll get to see these guys throw the pads on, run around, and see what they can bring to the table. I think they're asking George Karlaftis a lot, the rookie out of Purdue, because I think he's probably going to start. Frank Clark on the other side, you need him to be a big contributor. Michael Dana, hopefully he takes a step forward. I still have my doubts that they have enough at this position, but that could be what training camp's for, to see who is ready to go, and if they feel like, oh, crap, we need another pass rusher, maybe Brett Veach will sign somebody or go and make a trade. So those are some storylines to watch as camp gets underway this week, and I, for one, cannot wait to see some real Chiefs football. What's the number one training camp storyline for you? I just went through a few. I think it's Orlando Brown, but if you guys disagree, let me know down in the comments. Top training camp storyline for the Chiefs this year. Be sure to follow me on Twitter because I'll have some training camp updates over there as well. At HGramNFL, at HGramNFL. Same handle for Instagram, by the way, if you want to check me out over there. So go ahead, follow me on social media, on Twitter, at HGramNFL. All right, we'll go back to this one. Will Orlando Brown report at the start of training camp? Type R for report, type W for won't. By the way, the live poll, almost 50-50 again for Tyreek Hill. Tony says won't. Jeremiah says won't. Ice says won't. Jeremiah says won't. We got Matt, Richard, Looping saying won't. Rookie saying won't. Neil thinks he will report. Mike says won't. Ricky won't. Sheldon won't. Potato won't. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think at the start of camp he will be in attendance. All right, a couple of mailbags. We need a lot more questions, so load them up. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the show. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and Trace, if these are on the shorter side, that's okay too. And I can drag out, especially on those plants. But, yeah, sure. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. We'll let you guys load in these questions. Aziz just sent one in, and we'll start our mailbag in a second. Let's go back to this go. Do you miss Tyreek Hill? Type Y for yes, type N for no, and then we'll jump into our mailbag here in just a moment. See a few starting to come in. Jay used the capital C. I don't know if that impacts anything. Y for yes, N for no. Yeah, that works. Let's see. Anthony says, I love the Chiefs. You could go from that into the What if you went into this, into weigh-in, and then when we cut it afterwards, intro video hits? All right, cool. Of course we do. Sheldon says no. Potato says yes. All right, doing a little producing with my producer, Trace, on the fly. It is mailbag time, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Time to answer some questions here on the Chiefs Report, and this one caught my eye, so we'll start with Tony here. I'm so excited for more live watch parties, and hey, that's why you subscribe to the channel, Tony, and the rest of you guys, because we're ramping up our coverage with training camp here, preseason around the corner. Subscribe to the channel for the latest Chiefs news, rumors, and updates as far as watch parties go. Just like last year, we'll do as many as we can. I've got other duties here at Chat Sports, but I bet we'll do one or two of the preseason games and then some of the regular season games as well. So subscribe, turn on those notifications so we have you guys covered throughout Chiefs training camp and, of course, on into the regular season as well. Don't miss any of it. And coming up, more of your questions and more of my answers here on the Chiefs Report. Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I am Harrison Graham. More questions to answer after Tony got things kicked off there as he's fired up for some watch parties, and I am also fired up for the regular season. All right, let's get into it here, starting with Ricky Garcia. What do you think the Chiefs' record will be? I did a way too early record prediction video when the schedule came out. I guess that was back in, April, May, somewhere in there. I think I had the Chiefs going 12-5, 13-4. I think somewhere in that range. I think the floor is like 10 wins. Ceiling's probably like 14. They'll fall somewhere in there. I still think this is going to be a very good team. Schedule's tough. AFC West is tough. But this is still the team to beat in the AFC West. Alex Gomrick, do you think Justin Ross will be stashed for a year to get healthy? Yeah, I've mentioned that a couple times. I do think an IR stash could make sense for everyone involved. It gives Justin Ross a year with the best, physicians or some of the best in the world to rehab with these Chiefs doctors and trainers and, try to get his body as right as possible, right? If you guys don't know, he had foot surgery and is set to miss at least some time. Unclear how much time it will be. I don't think the Chiefs are in a rush to get him back, and Justin Ross shouldn't be in a rush either. He's in a good situation. I think you could IR stash him. He still gets paid for this year, and then he gets to recover with the best in the world, and then hopefully next year he is able to come back, be healthy, and be a part of this thing. Now, that doesn't mean he couldn't get healthy later in camp and contribute this year, but, a lot of injury history. I would not rush him back if I was Kansas City. Clayton Grass, if the Chiefs wide receivers struggle during camp, could Kansas City sign Odell Beckham Jr.? So another wide receiver question here. Go back to the depth chart. I mean, look, a healthy OBJ is probably this team's number one, right? The way he played with the Rams, he looked like a number one again. Unclear when he's going to be back and healthy. I could see like mid-season, like week 5, week 6, if the Chiefs suffer an injury or if they need a boost at that position, go sign OBJ if he still hasn't signed with the team while he recovers from his ACL. I'm interested. I don't think they would sign him until he's healthy, though, so keep that in mind. Should the Chiefs sign Odell Beckham Jr.? What do you guys think? Type S for sign, type P for pass. I am interested in him. If he's healthy, I think he could provide this team a boost. Next up is Ice. You almost got me. Do you think the Chiefs will use Josh Gordon more if they keep him? If he makes the team, you got to think he's going to have a role, right? Because he's not going to contribute much, if at all, on special teams. So if he makes this roster, then I think they're going to have some plans for him. I'm hopeful that he can show something during the preseason. I think he's firmly on the roster bubble. Jay, who is the most likely wide receiver to lead in each category? Yards, receptions, touchdowns. Yards. Gosh. This is tough. I'm going to go with receptions with Juju. Actually, yeah, Juju. Yards, I'm going to go Scott. Gosh, this is tough. How about this? Touchdowns, Valdez-Scantling, because he's going to hit a lot of home runs over the top. So I could see him having like eight touchdowns. Don't think he'll lead in receptions or yards. How about this? Guy Moore in receptions, Juju in yards. And then touchdowns is Valdez-Scantling. Just a guess, but I think it could play out like that. Terry Singleton, do you think the Chiefs are done in trades, going to stay with what they have in training camp? Maybe. I think they could still trade for a pass rusher, Terry. I think they're going to see what they got at defensive end in camp and reevaluate. And if they're like, yeah, we don't have enough there, maybe you go trade for a Robert Quinn, a Danielle Hunter, or someone else. I think that could be a possibility. I don't think they're going to trade for a DK Metcalf or a Deebo Samuel, but I could see them adding a pass rusher or potentially a corner if Rashad Fenton's injury lingers. We'll have to wait and see on that front. Be sure to follow us here on Rumble for more videos. We're also live and publishing our videos over there, rumble.com/ChiefsTV. Don't miss any of our coverage. If you've already subscribed on YouTube, another way to support is to go follow us on Rumble. Logan and Friends Vlogs. Do you think Julio will have a career year with Mahomes at QB instead of Big Ben? Juju. Sorry, I read that as Julio. If he's healthy, Juju should have one of the best years of his career. Maybe not as good as that 1,400-yard season he had back in, 2017, but he should be able to flirt with 1,000 yards. Now, targets are going to go everywhere. It's going to be more spread out, but I do think that Juju has an opportunity to kind of hit that reset button after a couple of down years and, kind of reestablish himself as a high-level player. KLB, will Josh Gordon make the Chiefs roster? Another Gordon question. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I think Gordon is firmly on the bubble. I have him probably as like wide receiver 5 right now, but we'll see. The problem with him is he doesn't offer much on special teams. He may have to prove that he can play special teams to make this roster. He needs a strong camp really badly, needs to show out in the preseason. We'll see if he's able to do that. We'll ask you guys, will Josh Gordon make the final 53-man roster? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I do think Justin Ross getting banged up probably helps him a little bit, get someone out of the way for now. We'll have to wait and see. Y for yes or N for no. Aziz, do you think Kennard will start? Darian Kennard, the only way he starts is if Orlando Brown and Lucas Niang aren't there week 1, which I think Brown will be. We'll see on Niang. And even if Niang's not, it's probably more likely veteran Andrew Wiley would get the initial start at right tackle. We'll see what happens with Kennard. I think he, ideally this year, he's like your swing lineman. He's your number 6-0 lineman, can play tackle if someone gets hurt, can play guard if someone gets hurt. And then maybe next year he has a starting role. So we'll see. I think it's possible, but I don't think he'll be a week 1 starter. Cole Keller, will you be doing live streams for the preseason game against the Bears? Granted, it's only preseason. Also, which channel? Bears or Chiefs? I know you cover both. Like Cole says, I do cover both. Unclear what the plan is. I honestly don't know. I'll either simulcast on both or go live on one of the channels. Either way, you guys will be able to watch me. So we'll have a plan in place. Stay tuned, subscribe, and we'll have that figured out in the next couple weeks. Tim Carr, who will be the biggest impact rookie? If you had to ask me today, I'll say Trent McDuffie because Rashad Fenton's still banged up with a shoulder injury. And I'm just not sure if George Karlaftis is ready for a major role yet. Sky Moore could be that guy, but I'll say Trent McDuffie. Last question on this mailbag. Alex Gomerick, do you think Leo Chenal will be our starting Sam linebacker? I think he can have a huge impact on our defense this year. I don't know about huge, but I do think he's got the inside track to be that third backer, which means he'll play the Sam in 4-3 schemes. He'll be out there. Maybe he's out there in some blitz packages too. He did have 8 sacks last year for Wisconsin. So, yeah, I'm excited about him. I think he could be kind of a wild card rookie that contributes a decent amount. Appreciate all the questions on this first mailbag. This is why you subscribe to the channel, because on Mondays, every Monday from here on out, as we bring back our live shows, we go live, we answer your questions just like the ones just now. So subscribe, join us every week so you can be a part of our mailbags. All right, we'll get to another mailbag in a moment, but want to get some shout-outs on this. Will Josh Gordon make the 53-man roster? Y for yes, N for no. Ref Taco says yes. Aaron says no. Tim and Tony say yes. Sheldon, Richard, Neil, Daniel say no. Tony says yes. Bearson says no. Matt says yes. Potato says yes. Yes, with Ross out. Ricky says no. Mike Tilson says no. Gold helmets like Mizzou. Ooh, that'd be interesting. That would be very, very interesting. All right, one more mailbag to come, so don't go anywhere. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the show. Go ahead and load those up, and we will answer just as many of them as we possibly can. Hashtag Chiefs, or you can Super Chat to get your questions on the show. And let's go. Let's get it. Today's Chiefs mailbag is sponsored by Mint Mobile, the new cell phone provider owned by actor Ryan Reynolds that offers cell phone plans starting at $15 per month. Listen, I'm trying to save money anywhere I can right now. Mint Mobile has helped me do that. Go check them out, mintmobile.com/chatsports, mintmobile.com/chatsports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Let's answer some questions. Richard Martin, what do you think the final wide receiver depth chart will look like? Well, here's the depth chart right now, and again, this is kind of my depth chart. It feels kind of positionless right now where I don't know if you have a true number 1, 2, whatever, but Juju, Valdes-Scantling, Hartman, and Sky Moore. I dropped Sky Moore down a bit because he missed some of the offseason stuff, but he's back and healthy with the chance to move up. Josh Gordon's in the mix. Justin Ross is hurt right now. Cornell Powell in the mix. Darius Fountain, Justin Watson in there as well. It's hard to say. I do think those top 4 guys will all make the roster for sure. After that, I think it's purely competition. Mike Tilson, I see the Chargers as the biggest AFC West challenge. Thoughts? Yeah, I would go Chargers 2, Broncos 3, Raiders 4. I'd probably rank it like that, but even the Raiders are going to be competitive after adding Davante Adams. That offense is going to be nice. So all 4 teams should compete, but I do think the Chargers, with Justin Herbert entering year 3, are the biggest threat to Kansas City. Finn Junity, are y'all's defense taking any steps back or forward? I guess if you're a Dolphins fan, you're asking about the Chiefs. I'll be honest. I didn't love the lack of moves the Chiefs made this offseason on defense. They restructured Frank Clark, kept him, didn't add any more pass rushers, drafted George Karlaftis, sure. I like the addition of Trent McDuffie as well, but didn't add a ton. So, you're hoping some guys play better. Justin Reed, of course, the big addition. He should help, but you lost Tyrann Mathieu, so that's kind of a wash. But we'll see. Steve Spagnuolo, I think, enters this season on kind of a mild seat. I wouldn't say a hot seat, but his defense has to play better this year. The Bears' son, trade for DK. Hey, listen, DK with Mahomes, that'd be a lot of fun. I don't think the Chiefs will do it, but can't ever rule it out. Brett Veach is an aggressive GM. Tato on point, who do you think will have the breakout season for the Chiefs? If I had to pick one guy that I think will break out, gosh. I'm going to go with Willie Gay Jr. on defense. I think with Anthony Hitchens out of the way, he's ready for a major role. I think Willie Gay Jr. is a guy to watch out for playing next to Nick Bolton. Max Walden, is George Karlaftis ready for a big role as a rookie? That's the question, right? It kind of seems like the Chiefs are banking on it because they haven't added any edge rushers. But, we'll see. I don't think that's a great way to operate. I would add a veteran edge rusher opposite of Frank Clark and next to Chris Jones. But for now, this is what you got. I like Karlaftis. I think he can be a good player. Is he ready to be a every down or a 80% downs type of guy? I don't know. That feels like a bit of a reach to me. So we'll see. Defensive end is something I'm watching during camp to see if this team has enough pass rushers. I think they should get another one, but for now, this is what they have. Michael Dana is a decent rotation player. Maybe Joshua Kando is ready for a role this year. We'll just have to wait and see. How many sacks for the rookie out of Purdue, George Karlaftis, this year? I mean, if you got like 5, wouldn't you be pretty happy for a rookie? I know he's a first rounder, but late in the first round. If you got 5, maybe 6 sacks out of him, I think that'd be a pretty productive season. Aaron Hudson next up, hashtag Chiefs. What grade do you give our backfield? Will they be impactful? I mean, look, you've got some depth there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you're hoping he's ready in year 3 to have a bigger role. Ronald Jones, I think, is a nice addition. You brought back Jarrett McKinnon. Isaiah Pacheco is a name to watch at training camp. So, yeah, I think it's a B minus room. You got some good depth there. You don't have any true superstars, but I think you got 3 or 4 different guys that you can work in there. MDB 2006 with a super chat. Who would you rather pair with Pat, a prime Priest Holmes or a prime Jamal Charles? This is a good question. I think I would lean Jamal Charles because the breakaway speed is just too impressive, and he caught the football really well. Priest could do that as well, but not at the same efficiency. I like both these guys. Priest Holmes, a little bit more of a physical runner, but that breakaway speed of Charles giving you another home run threat, that would have been fun with Patrick Mahomes. The Schaff, will CEH have the starting role all year if he can stay healthy? If he's healthy and productive, I expect him to be the starter, but he hadn't always been healthy. He hadn't always been productive. So I think he'll start the season as the starter, but I think the Chiefs, as they have the past couple of years, will use a rotation, and they will not be afraid to lean on someone else if it comes down to it. Before we get to some more questions, appreciate Mint Mobile for sponsoring today's Chiefs Report. They offer unlimited talk and text, which most cell phone providers actually don't these days. If they do, you got to pay a ton. At Mint Mobile, plans starting at $15 per month on the largest LTE 5G network. A cool thing about Mint Mobile, too, is free mobile hotspot. A lot of providers, yeah, you can get onto the mobile hotspot, but after you use a gig or so, it just starts charging you like crazy. That is not the case with Mint Mobile, so that's very, very nice. Unlimited premium wireless plan starting at just $15 per month. Go to mintmobile.com/chatsports. This is owned by actor Ryan Reynolds. He signs off on it, and hey, prices are going up. Your cell phone bill can come down. $15 per month. Go check it out, mintmobile.com/chatsports. That link is in the comments. It is in the description of this video. Camden, will Isaiah Pacheco make the Chiefs' 53-man roster? I don't know. I mean, we were just talking about the running back room. Pacheco, 7th-round rookie out of Rutgers. I like him. I think he's versatile. I mean, could you line up in the slot some? Does he have that kind of ability? I'm not sure, but he certainly has some speed, and I think can give you a little bit of juice. But I think that we'll have to wait and see in terms of what his fit ends up being long term. So Isaiah Pacheco, I think, is on the roster bubble and will have to, fight for a roster spot. A few more questions here. If we trade Brown, would you trade him for another tackle or a defensive player or just picks? Talk about Orlando Brown trade. I'm only trading Orlando Brown for a really good pass rusher. That's the only thing I'd even consider. And even then, I don't want to trade him. I would prefer to keep Orlando Brown. If it's picks, I would want at least a first-round pick. But even then, the only way you trade him is if he decides all of a sudden, I want out and request a trade. I don't think either side is ready for that. Kevin Gonzalez, with a lengthy rotation in the receiver room, do you see anyone running away with the number 1 spot? It's hard to say. Now, as we're filming this, Justin Ross has been placed on IR, according to Tom Pelissero, but we'll talk about the rest of the receiver room. I don't really, Kevin. I don't. And Juju's probably got the best chance to do that because he's kind of done it before, but unless Sky Moore can show he can be that as a rookie, Hardman's not a number 1. I think we know that. Valdez-Scantling's a deep threat, but I don't think he's a true number 1. So, no, Kevin, I don't really think so. I think it's going to be more of a, spread the ball around type of thing. Bearson says, sign Julio. Well, with Justin Ross on IR, maybe this could be a possibility. Not that they were banking on Justin Ross, but with him out of the picture for this year, Julio Jones could be a guy to monitor. And, hey, I would be absolutely on board with doing that. Potato on point. Who is going to be our starting running back? I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire from the beginning of the season, but you signed Ronald Jones, who's been a starter before. Jarrett McKinnon's been a starter before, even for this team, which is what we saw in the playoffs. He played really well as this team's starter. You got Derek Gore, Isaiah Pacheco. So, yeah, I mean, I think it'll be CEH to start, but that leash will be fairly short. I think the Chiefs have some good depth at the running back position. They'll be ready to go in a different direction. So we'll ask you this question. Will Isaiah Pacheco make the final 53-man roster? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Get your votes in right now in the comment section of this video. Y for yes or N for no. Be sure to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram at HGramNFL, at HGramNFL. That's where you can find me on social media for other training camp news and notes and overall NFL and Chiefs thoughts as well. So give me a follow at HGramNFL. That's at HGramNFL. Appreciate all your questions on today's mailbag. More shout-outs here, and then as we were filming that mailbag, Justin Ross was placed on IR, so we'll talk about that for a sec before we sign off. No loop today, by the way, Trey, so we'll, yeah, if we could make it and splice it in, we'll do that. Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, quick thoughts on Justin Ross, then we'll sign off, and I'm going to post a new video on the channel with that information in there, so be on the lookout for that and subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications. I'll have expanded thoughts on Justin Ross in a moment, but quick thoughts here. Not surprised. I told you guys this 3-4 days ago when we did the video with Justin Ross in the boot. I said he's probably going to be an IR stash. Put him on IR. He's got a lengthy injury history. Just let him rehab for a year. This is a redshirt year for him. I think he showed you enough in OTAs that you want to keep him around, and hopefully he can be a part of things in the future. If not, so be it. But I think with a guy like this, with his injury history, I think putting him on IR and stashing him is the right move. He still will get paid this year, so that's good for him as well. So those are my early thoughts. All right, subscribe to the channel. Turn on noties. We'll have expanded thoughts on Justin Ross on a video later today. We'll see you next time here on the Chiefs Report.